All right,
Right.
let's get this started. My first guest right now, Brian Rapaido. I don't know if I could do a proper justice intro, but I know he's a father, he's a husband, he's a dancer, choreographer, studio owner, which means he's a businessman. Not only that, he's a U.S. Marine vet, a whole lot of things. In general, he's just a really, really cool guy. And I want to bring him on to do an interview because I want to interview dancers that I know. And he's a Bay Area native.
Cool, cool. Well, thanks, Seach. Far too kind. But so I was born in San Diego, but I grew up here in the Bay at the age of 5.5, 6. And I think in the neighborhood that we grew up in, dance was always like something all the neighborhood kids did. So I didn't really plan on like setting a career path in dance. It's just like something we all love to do. Along with basketball, I think they kind of went in together, like hoops, hip hop, and dance kind of, like, it was all on the court. After that, yeah, when I went to the military, everywhere, every station I went to, I found myself being drawn to the dance community. Like I went out to clubs and I would like, me and my group of friends would go out and check like, oh, okay, I heard there's some dancers here. Let's go check it out. Almost like a unplanned battle. Like we wanted to see what that area had to offer. And
You did that while you were in the Marines?
yeah, so it was the army.
Oh, okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, while I was in the army. So, when we had our days off, we had like 3, 4 day weekends sometimes, and we would go to Virginia or New York, check out the dance scene.
But let me ask you real quick. So before you were in the military, say how serious were you in dance? Were you in a group, like a local group, a professional group, amateur group, or anything? And how serious did you take dancing?
Okay, good question. I loved dancing, but I was never in a group. Maybe practiced. I practiced with a lot of dancers, but I never like joined. I was so, I mean, you kind of know now, like I love a lot of things, and it was hard for me to commit. But I did admire mind tricks and chain reaction. E-rock, I think that was the first like exposure I had to like really dope b-boys. Like we were practicing at a trailer park, at a trailer home place, and they had a little community center. And E-rock would practice there, and they would be in there like near the stage or near the front. And then me and my group of friends, a little bit younger, we were just in awe and just like watching them. And I'd watch this guy, Mikey, and he would do like these crazy things, and I would try like in my corner and just try not to be seen, but it's an open floor. But that always like, I always thought that was fascinating, music and dance. So, I mean, I did perform like for shows, but that was when a group of friends like real quick got together. We didn't really spend like months to do something. It was just more like freestyle here, freestyle there, you freestyle there, everyone take a bow.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess I'm gonna move on real quick though to how did you go from just kind of like kind of interested to like, yo, I think I want to take it more serious. Like, do you remember, was that a moment or is that series of moments?
Yeah, it was one big moment. So there are a lot
Uh,
that like made me stick with it. But one big moment I knew I had to have in my life was something art related.
okay.
So I was in the army still. I was in Iraq, and morale was kind of low. It happens. People pass away, and everyone's morale was just dwindling down. And we happened to pick up a guitar and some congas from Jordanians who were like supplying food for us. So they gave us instruments. And I had a buddy of mine, a real cool, like hippie dude from Minnesota who joined the army as well. And I felt like I vibed well with him. We were just messing around. And one day in like this big room, he started playing and we were just jamming out. And all of a sudden, like a lot of our other friends just started gravitating towards us. And before you know it, we had like a little mini like session. And that's when I realized, man, like music and dance is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
I think later on in that same like tour, we actually had uh, like a nightclub, and not a night. You know, it was in not like here, but we were able to get a room and play music and have people just vibe out in Iraq for downtime and morale. So that was one instant where I told myself, when I get back, if I make it out of here alive, like, this is what I'm doing. I want to find a way to spread this, because it's powerful.
Okay, that's dope, because I kind of want to move forward to how you got into salsa. I mean, we know you're a good street dancer. Your salsa is really, really amazing, and I don't know if that many people know. So can you touch upon how you got into that?
Yeah, so again, living in the East Coast, a lot of my friends who I was sharing, like a lot of my roommates, were from the islands. They were from Jamaica, Trinidad, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Ricans, who took me to their homes during like our downtime. So we got to go to New York, and I got to see just even a little bit of what the Latin culture was like. And this is before like Dancing with the Stars, before I really knew what it was, because I didn't know about it being a ballroom dance. I just knew, I mean, like me being ignorant, like West Side Story, and I thought it was like all very proper. And when I saw salsa dancing in the streets, it wasn't like that. Then they took me to clubs, and it was very like raw, and it was just a real cool vibe to have like everyone in the room dancing. And so I tried dancing with a random partner, because my boy was like, hey, yo, B, ask her to dance. And I was like, no, man, I can't just go up to her like that. Normally it's like that. You just, after a song, you ask a lady to dance. And she danced with me. And as soon as I started like trying to turn her, I felt like I was gonna rip her arm off. And she just gave me this look like, you don't know what you're doing. Let's just freestyle. So then I wanted to know, like, how do I partner dance? How do I lead someone? And after that, after my little stint in North Carolina, to where I was stationed, I went on back to San Diego. I got a gig out there as a weapon instructor during the day. And I was working at a dance studio at night, just teaching, dance classes. And
what were you teaching then, though?
I was actually a sub for hip hop and very beginning like rhythm classes. And at the same time, I think they had like a program where it was kind of like Arthur Murray. They would train new instructors to learn partner dances, and at the same time, I remember Take the Lead. My cousin rented it. My cousin Calista rented the movie Take the Lead with Antonio Banderas. He was the main actor, but like Rufio, Dante Bosco was in that movie. And I was like, oh man, like I can relate to him, and he's learning ballroom as well. I'm like, man, okay, I'm gonna learn this stuff. So like I dug in deeper, and then I met my wife. She was just my not even my dance partner at the time, but we somehow got paired up. Actually, there were more girls than guys in this one particular dance team. And the owner and director of that team was like, hey, Brian, we need more guys. If we teach you how to dance salsa, would you, join the team? I'm like, I'm all for it. Like I'm a sponge, feed me. So I got partnered up with Jeanette. And from her perspective, I sucked so bad. I am dancing with this guy who doesn't know how to lead. So she invited me to like every club that happened throughout the night, throughout the week. And in my perspective, I was thinking, man, this girl likes me. She's inviting me every night to these places. But hearing it from her, like after we got together, she was like, no, this guy sucked, and I wanted him to get better. Because like I learned a lot just from going out, and that's what I loved about salsa dancing. Not just like the performing part, but the social dancing part. So to me, like it was just a whole, like it blew my mind to like how to cue on time and how to signal and what patterns to do on what type of dancers, and really it's a crazy like chess game that I love playing.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump over to. Do you remember the first time we met and how we met?
Yeah, so we were at a club, Cheech, and you offered to buy me a drink, and you looked at my.
Did it work?
Obviously, right? So I think on the real, I have heard of you for a while. So coming back and visiting like the Bay, back and forth from wherever I was traveling, my friends kept dancing. I somehow ran into J.R. Salazar, who was dancing with you with DS players, and he told me to come check it out. And I was like, okay, cool, cool, yeah, well, I heard you were based out of Mission. And then at the same time, like within the same month, I think, I met up with my boys Oscar and Darwin, who I was playing ball with. And I found out that they dance too. And Darwin, his brother-in-law is Ron, who you dance with in My Tricks. So every time I go over their place, you know, we talk a little bit about back then and how the dancing was. And it just kind of revived my like, oh man, I gotta get back. Like I've always loved popping, I've always loved locking, but never knew it. Never knew how to do it properly. I just watched videos. I remember Maya, she had a video, I think it was choreographed by Brian Green, but it was free. And that was like my first time, like when I saw locking that really wanted me to learn it. Because before I would see like others do it, but then I was like, man, I gotta do it. I gotta meet Cheech because I knew you were teaching that. So I think after one of my classes at Mission, I went back to school. Let me rewind. I enrolled back at Mission, and I just so happened to walk by and I saw J.R. Salazar once again practicing outside of the dance studio. And then I looked inside. I was like, oh shit, that's Cheech. Jay, hold on, I'll be right back. And I went up to you. I think Jeanette stayed in the floor. I think she ran into somebody she knew. But I was like, hey, it was like a few weeks after registration. Like I know it's kind of late, but I want to sign up maybe next semester. And you were like, no, man, I'll give you an ad code. You know, you go ahead and do this. You can do beginning or intermediate. I was like, can I do both? You know, from like 7 to 10. I think beginning was 7 to 8:30, and then 8:30 to like 10:10. And when I thought about it, I was like, no, I want like 1 hour and a half is not enough. Like I want the whole thing. And you're like, oh, cool. Here's 2 ad codes. And I was like, oh yeah, I got it. I went to Jeanette. I was like, baby, I got this. And she goes, oh, I want to do it too. So we went back and you gave her 2 ad codes. And from there, you know, like rest is history.
Right. You know, I want to show you something real quick. You remember this?
There it is.
Yeah, tell me about this picture.
I don't remember, but it's funny. We're laughing at something.
I don't remember either, but this is from my camera. And obviously, for those that don't know, this location, this is Mission College. This is the room that we had our class in. This is Brian right here. And next to him right here, this guy with the squinty eye. That's our boy, Romy.
Right there. He's probably feeling good.
And right here, we got JR. This is a different JR. This is not JR Salazar. This is JR de Guzman. He's actually I think he's probably the youngest guy here. And here, if you guys don't know, this is Little B, probably internationally known right now for his awesome locking skills.
Good moments, man. I don't remember why we're laughing like that.
All right, let me see. Here's another one.
Oh, yeah. That's our studio. That's our baby right there. Yeah, man, that was the day we got the keys.
Right here in the middle, this is Jeanette. This is Brian's wife. So Brian, Jeanette, myself, we co-own the studio here, the Get Down in San Jose. So I'd invite you guys, welcome everybody to come visit and just to say what's up and obviously take class if you can. Let's try one more picture here. Remember this one?
Oh yeah, I do. That's our DS Players holiday party, our white elephant. Oh, and that's Soleil. That's our daughter when she was 1. Oh, that's when everyone came up too.
that out. This is J.R. Salazar, for those that don't know. We got Alan and Liz right there.
Mm-hmm.
AK right here. Michelle King, John Shy Guy John. Let's see, one more. Is this one more? Oh, here we go. Tell us about this one.
Man, so proud of these kids. So a little over a year ago, we started a youth performance team where they just train, similar to what we did with DS players. And this right here was like their first performance right in the corner of our studio, right in the sidewalk. So you got Cliff out there, one of our guys right there. He helped direct this group as well. This was after the performance, and they did great. They killed it.
I want to quickly move over to some other questions if you
You the man, you the boss.
if you're ready. All right. So one of the things I want to do, about these interviews, I really love hearing stories, right? Because that's one way people get to know us. So one of the things I want you to see if you could recall one of the most embarrassing dance moments you have throughout your, career, throughout your history.
Oh man, embarrassing moments. Embarrassing dance moments. I'm sure I feel like every dancer has a handful of these. Okay. I have two quick ones.
Okay.
One of them was a performance that we did for the Latin Queer Festival in Oakland. And I was sick that day. I had the flu. But all morning and all like afternoon, I can't take pills. Like I'm bad at taking pills. So I was just downing Dayquil. So I took, I think almost two bottles by the time we had to perform. So I was feeling pretty good. Like, I don't know what effects they have if you OD on Dayquil. But by the time I got on stage, I was just so like, I'm ready. I was up in the front for this one section, and I felt so confident. I didn't even think about the routine because, we do our practice, at the studio or wherever, where on stage, like I don't like thinking about what I have to do. I just let it go. But I was so confident in my moves, and I went the complete opposite direction as the rest of my team did. And in my mind, I was just killing it. Like, I just went so hard, and looking back, I saw everyone messing up. And they looked at me, they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, man, I messed up so bad, but was so confident, like I was right. I messed everyone else up. But it looked like for a moment, we were just doing like our own sporadic thing, and then we caught on. But afterwards, they just like looked at me when we got back to the backstage, and they were like, what happened later? What you do? So I felt so bad, not for like the audience. I'd always give it my all, but for my team, I felt, man, I messed up.
That's a good one.
The second one was one of my first times dancing with Jeanette before we got together. We went out to eat Zarlitos in San Diego, and it's a Filipino spot, and we both had Langonisa. I don't know if you ever had Langonisa, Siege, but they're known for their burps, like their long-lasting burps.
Okay.
So, I thought it'd be nice to take her out to dinner, and, and we'll go dancing and meet with our friends. But I forgot, like, these burps last a long, long, long time. Hours, when they smell like garlic and sausage, and it's not cool. But I remember we were dancing bachata. It's a very like, the style that we're playing was a romantic style of bachata. So we were dancing close, and she was singing along. And we're like spinning too. It's not like a linear dance, but I like to rotate. And I kept trying to find a spot to burp so it'd be out of her face. So I like burp this way, but then she would turn this way. I burp this way, and she would turn that way. And then I would see her face just go like. But the cool thing was near the end of the dance, when the song kind of went down, I heard her burp, and then at it, and it smelled just like mine. So the same thing. So we were both
It kind of canceled out.
trying to find out. So
She
yeah,
didn't say anything, you know, did you ask her later, like, did you smell my breath or nothing like that?
right after that dance, she actually apologized.
Oh, okay.
She was like, "Oh, my bad. I just, had to burp up that langudisa." I couldn't keep my mouth shut, but I told her I told her the truth.
So cool. That's a good one. Love that one, man. All right. Well, on the same side or on the flip side, how about some memories that you were the proudest dance memory that you have or dance moments?
Proudest dancing moments. Oh man, there's so many. A lot of them having to do with students.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me as a dancer, I feel there are a lot of proud moments, especially like being able to share the stage, like with you. Like we've done a lot of gigs together.
Yeah.
In my eyes, like you're like not just a great friend, but an inspiration, like a mentor. We don't call you Zordon and Yoda for nothing. Like your knowledge is crazy. So just being able to share the stage with you and hearing stories from you is proud. On another note, actually, I have a good one. It was when you had Mission College and you had Wicked. You were teaching out of Wicked Studios before it became Montage with Bernice. And near the end of that, you handed it over to me. So that class, I took over a few classes, and at the end of, I guess the program, Bernice likes to do a show, and you were part of it as well with Mission College. But I remember in the back, you pulled me aside, and you were like, I like what you're doing here, and I like what you're doing. So I felt like I I had a lot of room. I had a lot of growth to do, but I really tried to fill in your shoes as best I could. And with you saying that, like it made me proud, and it made me feel like I'm doing our students proud.
Yeah,
With
sure. Oh, man, I do remember that, man. I do remember, watching you teach. I'm like, damn, dude, this guy is good. Like to the point where I'm like, I got to watch you more because I want to learn from you. It's just, teaching is not just knowing the dance technique, right? There's so much more to it. So for anybody out there listening, if you're a dance instructor or any kind of instructor, teaching is that it's far beyond that. And I saw that Brian had this thing where he can relate to so many people, and yeah, he's definitely, to me, a natural. I would think he's probably a better instructor than me. So that's why I'm like, dude, I gotta watch him. So it's a partnership thing. It's also a mutual thing. As much as I want to take some credit for showing him some stuff, I definitely gotta give credit because I'm learning a lot from him as well. So anyway, having that, I want to move forward because I don't want to sound like we're just patting each other's ass and everything. But I do want to touch upon one thing is that we both know, and anybody who's along with this dance journey know that this is not an easy one, right? Because when we, me, you, anybody who's trying to achieve something great, there's always a struggle. So maybe talk, real talk. Like, how many times in your life have you ever felt like you want to stop, you want to quit? Whether it's learning a routine or just quit this whole career.
um, yeah, that's a deep question. Um, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Um, but after the let me see. I'm gonna say no now, since we've established the studio. There were moments where I wanted to try different career paths, but I've always wanted to teach. And I think that's something me and you have in common. Like I love teaching, and if it weren't teaching dance, it'd be teaching something. Like I have a degree in linguistics only because I wanted to be able to learn to communicate as best I could, whatever subject that I'm teaching. I even like started subbing at the Milpitas Unified School District and did some schools in San Jose. And I found out like, no matter what I do, it's going to be in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So whether we teach dance or not, like I would find ways to learn, maybe pick up an instrument again and teach that, but it had to be teaching something. With dance, I'm gonna say no again, because I love it. I feel like it brings great people together. It's a very good common ground and a good reason, a good positive feeling for people to move together to music. It's a very positive vibe when you have people come in to learn how to dance. As long as I become a student at all times of learning the dance and the music, and my ability to relay that to people who don't do as much research as I feel like I'm doing. That's my job as a teacher, is to stay current, but also be a master of its history. And then being able to break it down and articulate it is the fun challenge. So to answer your question, no.
Yeah. One more important question I want to ask you is this. And I kind of designed this. I want to make sure I got it right when I read it. So I said, if you're the chief architect of a dance university, right? So let's say there is a dance university. I don't know, like the Harvard of dance, and you're the chief architect, right? You're supposed to come up with a curriculum or a course or something like that, right? What are the three advice you would give to any incoming student?
Chief architect. Okay. At first I thought it was like, you want me to design a building? I got you. Incoming students. Three important things I think is train like an athlete does. Because I feel like dancers kind of get put in this art category. Like if I go to school, I always see it like in the arts program. I feel like a big part of dance is athleticism,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I think the beautiful thing about being a dancer is you're an artist and an athlete, at the same time. Not taking away from like basketball players. I think basketball is a game of art as well, but to be just directly with music and being able to manipulate your body to do whatever your creative mind wants to do, like you got to stay trained. Otherwise, you think you're doing something cool, but you're really like doing this,
Right.
So I would say training is a must, and you have to have that mindset to train like a professional athlete, because I think the next ones are harder. Like the more mental part of it is studying the culture. That would be my number two, because once you have like the physical part gone, you have to worry about, I think the I guess not as fun part for some people is doing the research and just knowing whatever dance you're studying, know the ins and outs of it. It's going to take a lot of maybe reading and documentary watching and just interviewing people and digging. For me, I love it. And that's something like I will continue to do till the day I die, So know the culture in and out. And three, I would say be active in the dance community. Mm-hmm. So for our styles that we're into, it's more of the street and funk styles. And the Latin styles with Chin and I and our friends who go out to the clubs. We went out like 8 days a week And I felt that's what helped us connect to all the other dancers. We weren't just stuck in the studio training and then once in a while show up. But dance is more than just a performing art. You know, it is a community. And so when you're active, you start to network and you make friends and they're long-lasting relationships too. So that's something those three things I would advise to newcoming students is train, do your research, and be active in the community and be a part of it.
I think those are excellent advice. Okay, I'm going to move forward towards the end now. I want to maybe share with everybody what you're currently working on. Any new projects?
It's a weird moment with everything that's going on in the world today. Personal goals is balance. You know, I'm just trying to balance everything. You mentioned it in the very beginning, husband and father, those two things, like I take dear to heart, and whatever I can do for my wife to make her life easier, I will do it. And our kids are 3 and 1, so they're at that, stage where they can't be in the classrooms anyways in preschool, or, I want to be there for them. So me, it's balancing that time and still finding time to find my training. I want to dance and listen to music and just get down on my own. So for me, it's more of like a Zen thing. I'm trying to find balance with everything that's going on. I think that could be useful for a lot of our dancers is just knowing that although dance is a great thing, there's more to just dance. I feel like if everything within the walls of our home is good, it's going to resonate, and my dance is going to help resonate even further. So I got to make sure like my family's good first and I'm happy, and then take my dance to the next level and just spread it. So that's one thing. No projects right now. We're just slowly getting the studio up and running. We opened classes a few weeks ago. It's just every day following the city protocols and doing my best to stay COVID free for everybody who steps in here. That's number one.
Yep, I totally agree. It's that balance that we just said, that's the key word, balance in life, right? Dance is a great part of it, but again, it's just a part of it. Being that you're a father, a husband, obviously studio owner, everything combines together. You got to have your health, obviously, the wealth that's needed to maintain this life, and also the happiness that comes along with it. So very, very important. And I think that's a great advice for everybody and anybody who's listening. So thank you, Brian, for joining me in this interview. How can people get a hold of you?
That's one of my bad things. I'm bad with like checking my the best way to get a hold of me, Seach, is
Instagram.
Yeah, go to jeanette.young@gmail.com. Email my wife. She's really good at it. But jokes aside, Instagram, Get Down Dance Studios, or Brother Kuya. That's my personal one. We're on Facebook as well, the Get Down Dance Studios in San Jose, California. And email, it's a good way too.
So what I'll do is I'll post all that stuff down in the description below. So anybody who wants to reach Brian personally with his Instagram, Facebook, and obviously our studio here in downtown Japantown, San Jose, the Get Down. So guys, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time, Brian, and hope you guys have fun. And we'll be back next time.
You guys. All right, brother.